One of the biggest early blows of the ever heavier US tariffs on China has fallen on the American giant Amazon. And it's not all low-end stuff. More than half the top sellers on Amazon currently are Chinese products.
The White House is considering tax reductions in a bid to de-escalate tensions with Beijing that have roiled global trade.
Did you know China just straight up canceled $22 billion in soybean orders from the US? That's like telling your Uber Eats driver, nah, I don't want those fries anymore, but for 1.8 million tons of food. Meanwhile, over 25,000 shipping containers are just chilling at US ports like abandoned pets at a shelter. Your Amazon orders aren't coming, your new iPhone is stuck somewhere in the Pacific, and Orange Man is telling everyone this is all part of his genius plan. Spoiler alert, it's not. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Ever wonder what happens when the world's two biggest economies decide to have a trade tantrum?
Morning, the world's two largest economies locked in an escalating trade war, with China now hitting back, responding to President Trump's tariffs by targeting U.S. companies.
Well, we're living it right now, folks. American ports that used to be bustling with activity are now turning into container graveyards with over 25,000 containers just sitting there collecting dust. It's like the world's most expensive game of freeze tag, except nobody's having fun. Companies like Amazon aren't just hitting pause on their orders, they're straight up canceling billions of dollars worth of them. And why? Because someone thought slapping record-breaking high tariffs on Chinese goods was a brilliant idea. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Now we've got this ridiculous situation where American companies are saying thanks but no thanks to stuff that's already been made and is floating somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Here's the kicker. These containers aren't moving because the goods were already manufactured and shipped when the tariff announcement hit.
We begin here in Washington, where reports say the Trump administration is considering slashing tariffs on Chinese goods, in some cases by more than half. Beijing responded by saying the door was wide open for trade talks with Washington. However, it did accuse President Trump of exerting extreme pressure.
Now nobody wants to pay those extra costs. It's like ordering a pizza, and when it arrives at your door, the delivery guy says, oh, by the way, there's now a 25% pizza tax. And you're like, nope, take it back. Except you can't return a container shipped full of stuff that easily. The shipping companies are losing millions every day those containers sit idle. And guess who's gonna end up paying for that? Hint, check your wallet because it ain't coming out of corporate profits. The numbers are staggering. Logistics experts say it costs about $100 per day for each container that sits idle, meaning we're burning through $2.5 million daily just to have stuff sit there looking pretty. American companies are desperately trying to find a workaround, shifting their supply chains to places like Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia. But guess what? Those countries are already maxed out. Their manufacturing capacity is completely overloaded, and logistics costs are skyrocketing. What seemed like a clever solution has turned into what one industry expert called jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Companies thought they were being smart, but now they're just paying premium prices for alternative suppliers while watching deadlines whoosh by. The shipping halt isn't just some temporary hiccup that'll clear up after a good night's sleep. This is a complete breakdown of the supply chain system we've relied on for decades, and it happened practically overnight. It's like someone pulled the tablecloth out from under our economy's fancy dinner setting, and now plates are smashing everywhere. Those economic tablecloth trick consequences are now hitting your wallet where it hurts. Did you know grocery stores survive on profit margins thinner than Trump's comb-over? Just 1 to 2%. That's why when shipping costs climb, they don't absorb the difference. You do. Every penny increase in their cost gets dumped directly onto your receipt, and there's nothing you can do about it except pay up or go hungry. Remember when we used to complain about paying $5 for coffee? Man, those really were the good old days. With Brazilian and Ethiopian coffee now slapped with 10% tariffs, you're looking at price jumps up to 45%. Hope you like the taste of your own homemade brew, folks, because your Starbucks habit is about to cost more than your car payment. The shipping crisis is creating the perfect wallet-draining storm.
You know, debt's become such a big factor in this country. We're going to start paying debt off with tariffs.
Component of all this, about 70% of all products sold on Amazon come from China.
And it's not going to be that way. It's got to be fair, reciprocal. It's got to be fair. It's not fair.
Once Amazon's warehouses run out of their current stock, which is happening faster than Trump loses lawyers, expect to pay about 25% more for basically everything. And that's assuming the items are even available at all. Many products will simply vanish from the virtual shelves, replaced by that soul-crushing, currently unavailable notice we've all come to dread. It gets worse. Bananas from Costa Rica and Ecuador hit with 10% tariffs. Shrimp from Indonesia slapped with a 32% tariff. And if your shrimp comes from Vietnam, you're looking at a catastrophic 46% tariff.
The White House is considering tax reductions in a bid to de-escalate tensions with Beijing that have roiled global trade.
I haven't brought it down. I haven't brought it still 145. I haven't brought it down. I said it's a high tariff. It is a high tariff, but I haven't brought it down.
Even Norwegian salmon can't escape the chaos with a 16% tax. Your seafood dinner just became a luxury experience without the actual luxury.
That's the strongest monthly pace since January of 2023. Supplies of new and used vehicles for sale are declining rapidly as consumers flock to stores ahead of potential price increases due to the tariffs.
The car industry is getting absolutely hammered too. Auto factories in Michigan and Ohio are planning to temporarily shut down because they simply can't get the parts they need from overseas. New vehicle prices are expected to jump by $3,000 to $5,000 per car once current inventory runs out. If you were planning on buying a new ride this year, I'd suggest checking if your current vehicle can limp along a bit longer, or maybe invest in a really good bicycle. Major retailers are already quietly implementing purchase limits that feel suspiciously like pandemic-era rationing. Costco has started capping rice purchases at 2 bags per customer. Walmart is doing the same thing with certain electronics. It's like 2020 all over again, except instead of hoarding toilet paper, we're all scrambling for anything that doesn't require a second mortgage to afford. So there you have it, the genius trade war that's wiping $5 trillion from the stock market while certain politicians insist it's somehow making America great.
But now the Trump administration is seeking to reduce them to around 50 to 60%.
It basically means China's not doing any business with us, essentially, because it's a very high number. But we get along. I get along very well with President Xi.
Talk about a disconnect. These tariffs aren't tax cuts, as one clueless White House advisor claimed. They're literally taxes on everyday Americans. The most hilarious part? While your grocery bills skyrocket and container ships sit idle in ports, administration officials are calling this economic disaster a success story. Meanwhile, luxury goods flow to the wealthy as regular folks struggle to afford basics. Maybe next time, before picking a fight with the country that makes everything we use, someone should check if Americans want to sacrifice their financial stability for political theater.